In this session, we're going to talk about how do we face feedback? How could we receive feedback so that we can grow from it? Feedback or criticism, especially when it feels unfair, can be tough, but sometimes it holds the key to growth. Many years ago, I became a mom for the first time, and like most new mothers, I was exhausted, overwhelmed, and still adjusting my new life. I didn't budget enough time for my maternity leave, so just a few weeks after giving birth, I had to go back to work. Between the hormonal imbalances and the constant wakes up every 2 hours to feed my colicky baby, and the emotional roller coaster of leaving my daughter at the daycare, when I dropped her off, she would be crying, asking for me. I wasn't ready to go back to work, not even close. Then just a few weeks into my return, my boss called me into a meeting room. He asked me to rank myself among the group. When I refused, because to me, it's just not right. I wouldn't feel comfortable ranking myself higher than somebody else. And if I rank myself lesser than other people, then I feel like it's unfair for me. So I refused to rank myself among the team members. My boss then told me that I was not performing well. He told me that I was at the bottom of the group. He gave me a performance review that said that I was not meeting expectation. For those of us who in the corporate structure, you know what that like. Not meeting expectation is the lowest ranking. For someone who had always been a high achiever, this review hit me hard. At that time, I was already struggling as a new mom. I miss my daughter constantly. Every single hour, I miss her. And she wasn't adjusting to the daycare either, and she would cry for hours after I left. I felt torn between wanting to be home with her and just be a stay-at-home mom so I can spend more time with my newborn. And then the lack of sleep, I just couldn't keep up. But I also want to keep up with my career. That performance review nearly broke me. I wanted to quit. So why is feedback, especially negative feedback, hurt so much? Negative feedback hurt because it's not just about words. It hit us on two deep human needs. It hit us on the right brain, which is our emotion need, our belonging, our relationship need. Feedback can make us feel unloved, rejected, or disconnected. We all want acceptance. We want connection. So when somebody criticizes us, even constructively, it can feel like they didn't like us. It felt like we no longer belong to the group. Our place in the group is at risk. That's why our immediate reaction to negative feedback is often emotional. We get hurt, get sad, and we become defensiveness. But feedback also hit our left brain, our logic, our capability, our achievement. Feedback can make us feel unworthy, incompetent. Because on our left brain, we want to be capable, smart, and valuable. And when we hear that we didn't do well, that something we did wasn't good enough, it could trigger self-doubt and fear that we don't measure up. So you can see negative feedback hit us on both sides of the brain, the right side, which is the emotional side, and also the left side, which is a logical side. It threatened our sense of love and belonging, and it threatened our sense of worth and ability. So back to my story, at that time, instead of giving up, I decided to dig deeper. Even though I felt like the criticism was unfair, it wasn't delivered correctly. It was unfair in many ways because I just got back from maternity leave. I forced myself to look for some truth in it. That was when I realized that I have fallen into the trap of thinking that once I have graduated from university and got a job, I was done with the hard work. Even though I was completing everything that they assigned to me, I wasn't growing either. I wasn't taking any extra step. I learned an important lesson. Life is always moving. And if we want to keep up, we have to keep learning and growing. Anything worth achieving requires constant effort and growth. That harsh review, that unfair review became my wake-up call. I jumped into action. Within 4 years, I earned not just one, but 2 master's degrees. I went back to school and got a master's degree in engineering, which is my field of work. And then later earned a master's degree in business administration. And on my graduation day, my 2 kids, the 4 years old, the one that was a newborn when I got that harsh performance review, and my second kid, the 2 years old, they designed my cap and gown for me. They put Olaf, the snowman from Frozen, on top of my cap to help me gain a few extra inches on stage. It was one of my proudest moments as a mom. I standing on the stage with my kids in the audience, applauding to me. I knew how far I have come and how much I have grown. As I kept learning and improving, I became more valuable to the company and my confidence grew and grew and grew. As a leader now, people often come to me and ask how they can get promoted. My answer is simple. You need to outgrow your current role. You need to outgrow your current role. You need to keep learning. You need to take on new challenges. Ask for more challenging projects and show that you're ready for the next level. Even after you graduate, got a degree, landed a great job, never stop learning, never stop investing in yourself. So the next time you face criticism is when especially when it feels unfair, don't dismiss it. Try to find the lesson behind it. It might just be the push that you need to grow. Embrace even unfair criticism because it may hold the key to learning. I'm going to share with you 3 steps to deal with feedback. Step 1, pause and vent safely. When you receive that feedback, don't react immediately. Give yourself space. Find a trusted person, your spouse, your loved one, a coach, or someone bound by confidentiality. Do not vent to somebody who works in the same place as you do. Before you start venting, set the stage and say, I just need to vent. I'm not asking for advice. I just need your loving, supportive, and listening ears. And then they could be ready to help you release this emotional sting while feeling heard and supported. You don't need any lesson right now. You don't need any advice. You just need to feel heard. And the reason we don't want to vent to somebody who works in the same place as us, because we don't want to spread gossiping. We don't want to spread false information. When we emotionally fragile, we may react wrongly. We may say the wrong thing. We may conclude falsely, and we don't want that information to spread. That's why we should not vent about a performance review with anyone who works in our workplace. We need to find a trusted person, somebody bound by confidentiality, like your coach, your spouse, your loved one. And then step number 2 is to sort the feedback into 3 buckets. Bucket number 1 is easy. Any feedback that you felt totally unfair, drop it. You don't need to carry the weight that doesn't belong to you. On bucket number 2 is the truth bucket. Is there any of those feedback that have some truth in it? If it does, then accept it and ask yourself, what is one small step that I can take so that I can grow from here, that I can learn from this? And then bucket number 3 is the gray area. It's the perception area. This is tricky because it may not feel true, but you can see why someone may perceive it that way. And here you have two choices. You can shift their perception. You can figure out what can I do in this situation to change that perception, to reduce the misunderstanding. Or you can ask for a follow-up meeting to clarify, to clear the air, to address that misperception. Remember, feedback is just information. It's not a verdict. You have a choice here. You have the choice of what to do with it. You can drop some of the feedback completely because they're unfair, they're not right. You can see, is there any truth to it? And what can I learn and grow from this feedback? You can figure out what is the perception here and how can I work to change this perception? When you respond with a reflection instead of reaction, you stay in control. When you take some time to pause, some time to process your emotion, you can learn from your feedback, even the unfair one. You can strengthen your confidence if you choose how to use it. Feedback does not define your worth. It's simply data that you can choose to grow from. Feedback is just a moment in time. Growth is a journey. Don't let a moment in time ruin your whole journey.